Hi guys, welcome to the workshop. This week's video is just going to be a quick one. I'm going to show you how I made these push sticks with adjustable tails to allow for different thicknesses of wood, and I made two different looking push sticks. So for this project I'm going to be using an old piece of 4x4 fence post that I think's been lying in my garden for about 2 years. I bought it inside the workshop a few weeks ago just to dry it out a bit. Then I needed to mark roughly where the centre was so I could take it to the bandsaw and rip it down the middle. Now I'm not expecting this to come out looking fantastic because it's a cheap bandsaw and I'm still using the stock blade, but it don't really matter how it comes out because I will be running it through my thickness planer. I was surprised just how well it came out in the end. So after running the pieces through the thickness planer, I could then start the gluing up process. So once the pieces were glued, I could then apply some clamps and leave it overnight to dry. The following day I could mark out the shapes I wanted the push sticks to be and then cut them out on the bandsaw. Then it was time to cut out the handles, and to do this I'm using a small hole saw, and I drilled part the way through on one side Then I used a normal drill bit to drill a pilot hole all the way through, and then I flipped the board over and used a hole saw to finish the hole from the other side. And then once the two holes were drilled, I then used a jigsaw to finish the cut off. So once the handle was cut, I then needed to do quite a bit of hand sanding to smooth out the inside of the handle. So to finish off the main body of the push stick, I then used my trim router just to ease over the edges on both sides and around the handle. So the next thing I needed to do was to cut a rebate on the back of the push stick, and to do this I simply run it through the table saw, adjusted the blade of fraction, run it through again, and I kept repeating until the rebate was wide enough. So once the rebate was done, I needed to cut the tails, and I'd done this in exactly the same way, cutting them slightly oversized to start with, and then gradually decreasing in size until they fit. Then, holding the tail in place, I used a drill bit to drill a hole through the tail and into the push stick, and you can see I'm using a bit of tape because I don't want to go too far. I'm being careful to make sure I drill the hole as straight as possible. The last thing I needed to do was to elongate the hole on the tail to allow it to move up and down. Now, if I'd have had a drill press, this would have been really easy because I could have just drilled a series of holes, but I did try drilling it out by hand, but I found the drill bit was just slipping into the hole next to it. So I made a few holes and then used the chisel just to clean it up. Then I could tidy up the hole a little bit with some hand sanding. Now it's time to add the hardware, and for this I'm just using a plastic bolt and T-nut. Main reason being, if I should mess up big time and cut into it with the blade, it's not going to damage it, whereas a metal one would. And I'm simply winding it in. I'm not using any glue because it's actually fairly tight, and this is after all only to hold the tail in place. With the bolt all the way in, I can then cut the head off, fit the tail, and then add the plastic washer and T-nut. And here's just a super quick demo on how easy it is to change from one thickness to another. And I'm sure you've noticed that I applied a quick coat of stain just to finish them off. Right guys, that's going to wrap up another video. Cheers for watching. Can you do me a favour? Go down to the comment section and let me know what you think of this video, any past videos of mine that you've seen, because I'm kind of still learning this process of making and editing videos, and I'd really appreciate some feedback, whether you think they're too short, too long, you want less talking, more talking, and basically let me know whether you tend to watch the whole video, skip through it. I'm just trying to engage with people a little bit and work out whether I need to change anything or whatever. So if you could like leave me a comment and let me know what you think, I would really appreciate that. So until the next video, that's a wrap. Cheers for watching, guys.